Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Help Heal Veterans Presents Virtual Crafters Studio. Thank you for spending some time with us today. Before we get started, I'd like to go over a few items so you know how to participate in today's event. You should see a toolbar on your computer with some icons for the event. You've joined the presentation using your computer speakers for sound by default. If you prefer to join over the telephone, just select telephone in the audio settings and the dial-in information will be displayed. It is also in the chat box. Just to make sure everyone's hearing me clearly, I'm going to launch a poll. Please let me know how the sound is. Please note your microphone and camera will remain disabled during the event. I've disabled the chat for today's webinar, but if you have a question for our team, please open the Q&A at the bottom of your screen and type in your question. You may send in your questions at any time during the presentation, and we will do our best to get to them. Also, we're recording this session and we'll make it available within the next few days. If you'd like to watch it again or share it with your friends, we'll send everyone an email with the link and put it on our website. So don't worry if it seems like it's going too fast. You can watch it again and pause and rewind as needed. I'd like to introduce some of our presenters. First, we have two of our craft care specialists. Out of our Maywood, Illinois community-based craft clinic, we have Rose. Rose has been with Heal Vets since 2008 and presented at our last 3 virtual crafting events. And out of our Temple, Texas community-based craft clinic, we have Trish. Trish presented at our last virtual event and has been with Heal Vets since 2017.
Hello.
And now I'd like to introduce Help Heal Veterans CEO Joe Mclean to kick off the Help Heal Veterans Presents a Virtual Crafter Studio.
Hey everybody, Captain Joe here, and welcome to our Virtual Crafter Studio. Like I've said before of these other events, this is your event. We all know that crafts are healing. COVID's kind of lightening up for some it's not, but we still have a lot of folks out there who are isolated because they're at risk. And maybe they just don't get out. So we want to provide an opportunity for folks to engage and have a little bit of fun, maybe do a little bit of healing together. The day's event is kind of special because we had a couple of things that are truly special about it. The first is we've got a great partnership with the Elks, and I won't get too much into that because Mary from their team is going to talk a bit more about that. But just to say, truly grateful, could not do today's event or events like this or a lot of the great kits we provide without the great partnership we have with the Elks, who are some great Americans who are supporting their veterans. The other part that we're offering today, like in a lot of events, but I really haven't talked about it, is the great craft care specialist team we have here at Help Heal Veterans. These ladies work hard every day to engage with veterans of the VA and the military hospitals, all the way down to local community centers and small local programs. And they help veterans suffering from TBI, PTSD, substance abuse, other issues that maybe they just don't want to talk about, but by doing crafting, they'll share with our folks. They're there to help them be a little bit more creative, but also be a good friend. So I just like to thank Trish and Rose and Heather and all the other folks who you may engage with today. They do great work, years of helping folks, and they're a great part of what we offer here at Help Heal Veterans. But as always, the key is a craft kit. With the glove you're going to do today is something pretty special, and we hope you have a lot of fun. These are your events, like I talked before. So I hope that the kits, as you know, are designed to help you heal. And we want you to get something out of today's event. And if you have any thoughts on how we can make these better, please share them in the comments section or let us know via email after the fact. So have fun, and over to our craft care specialist team.
Since you're all here for the crafting, let's go to Trish for an introduction and instruction on the glove kit.
Hello, I'm Trish, and today we are going to teach you the leather glove kit. This was mailed out to you recently, and here are the directions that you received inside there, that nice piece of paper with a picture on it. But today we're going to go step by step through the entire thing with you. I'm going to start off, and then Rose is going to take over. Let's see, we're going to be showing you how to do one glove, but remember you have 2 parts in there. So let's take a look at everything that you have. In fact, you're going to notice that one set is going to actually have a notch in it. So if you look real closely here, I'll hold this as a backdrop that kind of help you see the notch that's on there. So we're going to take the pieces that have the notch, these 2 here, and we're going to set them aside. And you also have one of the, I find where I set them here, sorry. This one also has a notch in it as well. We're gonna set that one aside. So let's get our 2 parts right here. You should have 2 foam pieces as well. You should have a needle and a hook and eye fastener right here. It's your Velcro pieces. So that's trademark names. We're not really supposed to say that, right? And it's also helpful if you have a ruler, pair of scissors.
Not supposed to, but
Yeah, sorry, Chip. I know you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to become an actual, regular name. Kind of like how you're supposed to say tissue instead of you know what. Anyways. All right. Okay. Also, it helps if you have twisty tie or even a piece of wire. I also use like this tiny little binder clip at times when I need to hold pieces together. So I'm gonna set that aside. Let's set aside our little foam pieces. Now this cording, this is pretty awesome. I really like this soft cotton cording that we have. And you're going to, let's see, we're gonna take the, set your notched ones with the V in it, set it aside. Then we're gonna grab ourselves the piece we need. Everything got tangled up today. This is kind of crazy. Here's my little piece of wire. And now you're gonna line up the palms of these pieces here, the holes on the glove, this set right there. And you're gonna take one of these for the palm, right side up, both of them, the smooth side. So you notice that there's one side here that's really soft, has a nap to it, and then here are your smooth sides. We're gonna use those.
And Trish, this is Rose.
Hey,
I
Rose.
just want to make a little note. If for some reason you mix up the notched and unnotched pieces, that's okay as long as you use the right piece.
Correct. I appreciate that. That's always great to know you've got it out if you haven't been able to find the right piece yet. Okay, so it says that we're supposed to take a 36-inch piece of thread here for our first portion of stitching. And I don't know about you, but I always was taught by my grandmother that if you measure from your nose, your chin out to your arm outstretched, that's 36 inches. So that's a yard. I don't know how that works with some people, but grandma knows best, right? So that's how I'm going to kind of measure mine out today. And that's where I'm going to cut it at. All right. That 36 inches. We're not going to put any knots in this. So, and I always find it really simple to, instead of threading the needle, hold the thread and needle the thread. Does that make any sense? So much more steady. Okay. And I remember we had a discussion about this thread. If it comes unraveled on the ends, you can use something like, was it a glue stick, Rose, that you said you use?
I always use like a glue stick, just run it on the edge of the glue stick and flatten it out as you're doing it. And it takes a few seconds to dry and works out great.
See, I love that. I love all these extra tips.
Or you could, try, if you don't have glue, just try trimming the edge of the string on an angle, and that helps sometimes too.
That's right. Oh, and here's another reminder. If we're going too fast for you at any point, remember this is going to be recorded. So you're going to be able to look back at this later. I always love that. I love videos. You can always stop, pause, rewind, go back to what someone said, go over and over again. I appreciate that. That's how I taught myself how to knit, was from a video. So if I can do that, you can do this. So here we are, we're lined up. And so in between the 2 leather pieces, I'm going to leave a 2-inch tail of thread here, no knot. Pass this through the palm because we're going to do this halfway. We're going to do this half section right here. So I'm going to come up through here to keep my little tail. And give yourself time. There's no hurry. Like I said, it's going to be recorded. And you'll have times where you'll be able to catch up with us too. So let's put about 2 inches. Now, when I first did with these, I tucked my tail in between And you don't want to do that because then I had to go back and loosen everything up and pull it back out because you're going to need this tail. So just an FYI. Now, kind of line them up so you know you're hitting the right holes with this. And then you're just going to stitch in and out. Pretty simple. I like things that are repetitive and that don't require a lot of thought. I don't know about you, but it's fairly therapeutic for me just to take the time to do so. And I'm not a natural stitcher, hand sewer person. I'm always in a hurry to get things done. So this is nice. It makes you slow down. And so you can see kind of what I'm doing here. In and out.
And just on another note, with this being hemp and it's thicker, sometimes I even have an issue with it knotting when you're pulling it through. So when you pull it through, once you get started, make sure your part on the other side is kind of not tangled when you pull it through, and that'll save you from having to, get rid of your knots if that happens.
Yep. Great tip, Rose. That's very good. Because you do notice that it likes to curl in on itself. So if you just kind of take your time and going back, you can always go back and tighten it back up. So here we are. We're going around about halfway. Little stitch here and there. Thank you for the tips. You got any tips there, Chip?
I had me muted. Sorry about that.
It's okay. Nothing like putting you on the spot.
No, that was a very good tip, Rose. That's because see how it curls?
Yep.
Because the cord is wound, so it does tend to bind up. So yeah, good idea to one stitch at a time. Don't try to do a whole bunch at one time and pull it through. It'll knot up.
Yep, I had one do it just right here. It's kind of kinked up on the back. So I went to the front to pull it tighter. There we go. Now it's flat and now I can go back. Again, you want to enjoy this process, right? We're not in a hurry. Doesn't have to be mailed off to someone today. So we're good. All right. How you doing, Rose? Rose is an expert.
Good. I'm
She's
halfway. I'm waiting.
I'm more of a take my time, understand what I'm doing. That's good. I like it when we have Rose's expertise here. How many gloves you think you've done, Rose, over the years?
Oh, I have no idea. Probably 20 or 30. I mean, recently, just to get ready for this, I've probably done 10.
Wow. Okay. That says quite a bit right there.
Mm-hmm.
Goodness.
Practice makes perfect.
That's right.
There you
That's
go.
right. I like that. Okay. We're rounding around the corner now. We're getting about halfway. So when we get to the halfway point on this, we're going to take that foam piece that we have and insert it. And here's an interesting point. I realized when Chip had brought it up, isn't there a notch on one of these too that I hadn't noticed before? I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it's very difficult to locate. But
I was going to say,
being
where
it's
is it?
in the leather, you're not going to see it. It doesn't affect anything.
Thank you. See, another point that you don't have to stress over it. You're good to go.
And also another point, which Chip pointed out last time, was there's not a right side or a wrong side to the foam piece. It's going to be hidden. Doesn't matter which way it goes in, as long as it's the correct angle of that will fit in.
Yep, I love that. Okay, so I got a couple more stitches here and I'll be at the halfway point for me. And I mean, I'm probably a little shorter than halfway, but that's all right. We'll move it along for you since I'm the slow poke today. And see, it does keep kinking up on me as I'm going back, but that's all right. I love this needle. It's a thick needle, so it's good for getting underneath. It's not too sharp either, so I can take it underneath my thread and pull it up and tighten it if it needed. Here we go. See, there we go. Got a little knotting going on here. It's all right. We'll fix this. There we go. And if I stick my finger inside of there or my thumb, it kind of keeps it taut enough that I can actually pull it through without kinking as much. There we go. That looks better. Okay. And don't we love how soft this leather is? I've never felt leather this soft before. This is pretty awesome. Just think of that around your hands when we're doing it. Okay, we're coming on to halfway here. And let's take our foam insert. All right, again, you can kind of match it up the way you want it to go in there. It's not a huge difference. Keep that tail out, because I didn't once. You don't want to go back and do that. So we're going to kind of tuck it in here. And then you're going to hold it, because now you're going to have this nice challenge of stitching around, yet you have this bulk here. So it's going to be fine. Here, we're going to be good. And again, like Rose likes to use twist ties. I think that's a great idea, or a piece of wire if you want to. It'd be great at holding it where it needs to be. So say if I wanted to do it like right here. And then now that's going to hold it together while I'm stitching, which is kind of nice, because then I don't have to worry about fumbling around or getting lost while I'm doing this. Okay, now we're going to finish sewing through this all the way around back to the beginning. Remember? So we're going to finish up what we were doing right here to this point. Okay, we're going to give you a few minutes to be able to get this done. No, whoop, see, look what I did. I stitched from the wrong end. I decided to go from the top. All right, that's all right. We'll pull it back out. Now I'll do it from the bottom. Put the needle back on here. Okay, let's give you a few minutes to get yourself around there. How's that?
Okay, ladies, we don't have any questions right now. Just a reminder to our attendees, if you have any questions, please put those in the Q&A. And again, if it does seem to be going a little too quickly, we will send out the video, which will show the hand motions and have the instructions that you can then pause and rewind and watch at your leisure. So it will make things a little bit better as we move as you move forward. So. But while you're working on those stitches, I'd like to take a moment to extend a hearty welcome and thank you to Mary Morgan, Director of the Elks National Veterans Service Commission. It is thanks to their efforts that we were able to provide this last package of crafts to you. Hi, Mary.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for inviting me here today. As mentioned earlier, my name is Mary Morgan. I am the Director of the Veterans Services for the Benevolent and Protective Order of the Elks organization. So I manage all of the Elks veterans programs. I manage their nonprofit. The leather that you're using for this craft is all donated by our members. So it's called our Elks Veterans Leather Program. It's been in existence for 75 years. And how it works is our Elks members all across the country, we have more than 1,800 lodges and 800,000 members. Anyone can join, any American citizen over the age of 21. And what these Elks members do is they partner with hunters in their communities to collect donations of hides that the hunters weren't going to use or didn't need. Then the Elks collect and clean all that donated leather. And we use it for two main purposes. One of them is to make wheelchair gloves for veterans, and we distribute those at veterans adaptive sports events all over the country. And then the other, of course, is we donate a huge amount of that leather directly to help heal veterans so that they can go into craft kits like the one you're making today. In fact, last year alone, the Elks members donated more than 122,000 square feet of leather to help heal veterans, to help veterans like you recover, thrive, pass the time and just as an appreciation for your service to this country. Our Veterans Leather Program is, of course, not the only program that the Elks have for veterans. Our other two big programs are we have volunteers stationed in hundreds of VA medical centers and VA shelters and VA outpatient centers across the country to provide support to veterans receiving health care there. And we have an outreach program for veterans who are experiencing homelessness. And you'll learn a little bit more about those programs later on. If you have any questions about the Elks or our programs for veterans, feel free to jump in the Q&A and ask questions. I'm happy to tell you more about our organization. I hope you enjoy the craft kit. I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy that we can help and be a part of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Okay, and we still don't have any questions. So Patricia, oh.
Hi. So yes, I am back again, and I am kinking up pretty badly off and on here. So I am not all the way across this piece yet. So hopefully you guys are all working along with me here. Is everyone else ahead of me? I know Rose is. She's like done. She's probably done the entire glove by now. So as we finish up this last line here, we're going to do a fun little stitch called saddle stitch. I love this because I remember the first time I'd made this and did the first stitch around, I kept thinking this has a lot of gaps to it. It just didn't seem as sturdy. I thought, well, it was nice, but I didn't know if it was going to last. And then when realized the saddle stitch is a great stitch to be able to do that. So here I am kind of poking out a little bit. I can tuck that foam back in there. All right, tighten it up a little bit. All right, see if I can speed it up and get around here. Obviously, I'm not a 5-minute stitcher. It's okay. It's all right. I'm enjoying this process. And wasn't that great to hear about the Elks Lodge? I mean, I grew up around that, but I thought that's amazing. 75 years of taking care of veterans. And what a way to use hides. I love that. All right. Oh, see, there's my little kinky up a little bit. There we go. Pull it tight. Okay. Have any more input for me there, Rose?
Actually, I just want to give a few ideas about how you can use these gloves.
Oh, yeah.
Later, I'll show embellishments and some fun stuff, but I mean, these gloves are vets, obviously good for wheelchair gloves, but many of them use them for working out. They go to the gym when they're inpatient or, whatever at home, and they use them for working out, and they're great gloves, or bicycling. I mean, there's, many uses for them. They're really nice gloves, for a lot of different things.
I love that. That's great, Rose. I appreciate it. We actually have, since I'm in Central Texas here, and it is now lawn season. Everybody's between the rain and the sun and the little bit of heat here and there. Everybody's lawn's been popping back up. And we've actually had some of our veterans use the leather glove while they're mowing. I thought that was a brilliant idea because all that vibration while you're pushing a lawnmower. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, kind of like not a garden glove to help you garden or,
No.
plant your vegetables if you wanted to. If you're, obviously you wouldn't want to dig in the dirt with them, but,
Right.
To hold your tools. Sometimes it helps if you have something padded to help.
Right. I love that idea. I thought that was a great one. So here we are. I'm coming down to the last couple stitches. Now, when you get all the way down to the end here, we're going to double back. All right. Let's see. Make sure I'm at my right stopping point here. So you're going to get to the end, right to the last couple stitches here. That's nice. See how that foam piece stays in there really nice and tight now? You can see the raised edge of it. Looks really good. And okay, going down to the last one here. Don't get in a hurry, Trish. See, get in a hurry and then I can't go up my thread. I don't want to do that. Okay. So now we're going to go backwards. So when you go back through, you're going to you're trying to cover the one that hasn't been done. So you're going to come up. I went to the next hole, came up through the bottom. See if you can see it really well. Came up through into the next hole to go back down, brought it up to the next one. Don't worry if you pick the wrong one, because you can always take your needle off and then pull the thread out. Now, got my tail hanging out there. You're going to go back down to the next one. So the idea is that you're going to cover up those gaps in between the stitches. Here, let me get my little kinked up thread out of the way so we don't have a problem.
Hey, Trish, I might want to throw in a suggestion. Like if you were to pick up that piece of leather that you're stitching, and if you grab the cord at the base and let the needle hang free, and then just run your finger down around it, might take some of that twist away.
Ah, I love
in the
that.
air.
I love that. That's a great idea. You're right, because I've done that with other things too. You're right, because it's been wrapped around a piece of carding there for a while. Okay, I like that. Thank you. So again, you saw what we just did. We covered this gap right here. Now you have 3 stitches in a row is what it looks like. You're going to come back up through the next hole. And all right, there you go. And do the same thing. Go back down through the next one. Oh, that did help. Thank you. Down through the next one. And so you're going to have this nice even stitching going all the way across. If I can bring it up close enough, you can see all of it. See that? So this is kind of nice. Now those gaps that I was worried about the first time I made this it's not going to be there anymore, because now you're going to have this nice tight stitching as it goes all the way around. So you're going to continue to do that all the way back again to the beginning so that we're all finished. Okay. And once you get to the end there, I want you to stop, because Rose is going to show us what to do next. All right. We have any questions?
We don't have any questions right now. So while you're finishing up with these stitches, we have a couple of quick videos on the Elks National Veteran Service Commission. So hold on. Start that.
The Elks are a big part of veterans getting back on track, getting over their obstacles, being able to be successful. They provide some resources and some services that maybe sometimes we can't find here.
We've got our Elks Emergency Assistance Fund, which provides rental and utility assistance to veterans who are at risk of homelessness. We also have our Welcome Home kits for veterans who, have experienced homelessness in the past. Now they're moving into their new apartment. So the Elks are able to come in and they can buy supplies for the veterans.
They are just a great partner to work with. They're dependable. The programs that they run really help. And it just makes the life of the veterans so much better with the assistance that they provide.
Everyone loves the Elks because they're so helpful in providing us with the resources we need, but also everyone that works with the Elks is so nice and friendly and responsive. When all else fails, at least we know, okay, we have the Elks, they can help us out with this.
Elks say this is what we can do, and they do it. And so the social workers have become dependent on the Elks helping our veterans get out of tight spots. We had a veteran who was a CDL driver, and his license had expired, and he was going to get a job. All he needed was $35 to get his license, and the Elks were able to cut that check for him the next day, and he started driving the next week. So the partnership we have with the Elks has been nothing short of a miracle.
Thank you so much. I'm sure that you have some kind of idea of how helpful what you're doing is, but if you could speak with a veteran who you've helped, they would probably give you a big hug and just say thank you so much, because it really makes a huge difference.
It's been a really good partnership, something we look forward to and hope we continue for years to come.
Today we put on an ice cream social. We brought in all the toppings, the bowls, the spoons.
Around about 11 o'clock, 11:30 on the third Thursday of the month, you'll see a line that stretches for at least 100 feet of folks with their spoons and their bowls in hand.
And then at the very end of the table, Willie makes sure that they get the cookie of their choice.
Well, around here they call me the Cookie Man.
We went through approximately 12 3-gallon tubs of ice cream, and we served approximately 350 veterans.
You know, it's a little overwhelming to see the number of people that come out.
It gives the veterans in the area the opportunity to commingle with each other, and it builds a bond of fellowship, and it makes them reassured that we truly do care about the care that they are receiving.
What we do, and what's important, it's not just contributing money. It's having a face-to-face, one-on-one relationship with the vets, because the most important thing you can give the vet is your time.
My father was in the Army back in the 50s.
I joined the Army, let my mother know that I wouldn't be going to Korea because I was too young. Well, that's where I wound up in April 1952, 6 days after my 18th birthday.
I first started volunteering for veterans about a little over 40 years ago.
Stu is not a veteran, but Stu has taken it upon himself to put the care for these veterans and put the quality of the care at the forefront of his volunteer experience.
I do it for God, I do it for country. And when you do the volunteering at the VA, you can say you do both.
When you look in the dictionary and you look at the word partner, I think you would see a picture of the Elks there, because they are joined with us in hand on many of the things that we do here, particularly in the VA-VS program.
The volunteer services in each of the hospitals has a coordinator. It allows that person to speak directly with the hospital and then bring that information back to the lodges at the districts and at the local level.
When there's needs here that we sometimes maybe not have a resource to fit, we ask the Elks, we approach them, and they seem to find the answer for us.
The Elks are important to my volunteering in the fact that it gives me a lot more power as a volunteer.
It gives each one of our members an opportunity to become part of a bigger team that will never let a veteran behind.
Well, I tell everybody that, that especially the veterans, come on down and take a look at what we're doing. Chances are, you do like me, you're gonna like it, and you're gonna volunteer.
By getting involved as a volunteer, you may only spend 1 or 2 hours, but you could totally change how that person deals with the rest of their life.
I'm getting fist bumps and handshakes, and the veterans really appreciate what the Elks do.
I look forward to coming down. I went out and bought the cookies 3 or 4 days ago, just make sure I had them and ready to go. Helping someone out just a little bit, makes my day too. Not only their day, it makes my day.
It gives me a good sense of accomplishment that I've been able to do some good in the life of all our veterans.
From the overall smiles that we're seeing, they just like the fact that somebody took the time to give them a token of appreciation, and who doesn't like ice cream?
Does anybody have any questions as Trish finishes up the sewing the pad in? I don't see any questions. Rose, do you want to continue for us?
Yes, I will. Okay, so I am going to help you finish off the palm piece. I have sewed all the way around with our saddle stitch, and my needle is actually on the back side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do my last stitch. If you could see, there's one stitch open here, and I'm going to bring the needle, but I'm not going to go through the top palm piece. I'm going to bring it out so it comes out right next to the other tail. So you have two tails, and that's why we left a tail. So now your two strings are side to side, and you are going to just take and not, do, it depends on the thickness of your thread, but do a knot. This is the green I have here is really thick, so, and then trim it. And then I kind of push it down so the knot is hidden, and it's kind of hard to hide it because the thread is so thick, but it, looks good. Your palm piece is finished. Now I am going to show you, we're going to keep that palm piece handy. I'm going to show you how to attach the hook and eye fasteners. Now we have the the palm piece and the other piece for your one glove. This is your hook and eye fastener. What we're going to do is we're going to cut it in half. That one pull set aside, and then you are going to pull it apart. So actually, this is the back sides. These are the front sides. These are the two that stick together. So right now, we're going to take one and we're going to attach it. It doesn't matter which one, to the palm piece that you just sewed. Now, keep in mind when you do the other piece, it's going to go on the wrong side of the glove. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But then, so we'll just set this aside. This is the one we're going to work on right now. So we are going to cut a 24-inch piece of thread. I use a ruler, just what I do. So I have 24 inches. And there's my thread, which is stuck. And then I'm going to thread my needle. No knot, just like when we did Trish did the palm piece with you. Same, no knot. Okay, so here I'm I got the holes lined up. You could see the holes in the back of the hook and eye fastener. And you're going to start in between the two pieces. So I'm going to go down to the back side and leave a tail just like we did before. And then it doesn't matter what direction you go, you're going to find your next hole and you're going to pull the needle through. Now you could see that I'm having a little bit of trouble. It's hard sometimes when you have thick thread, pulling it through the hook and eye fastener. It gets a little hard sometimes. I mean, I even have a hard time. Now, let me do a couple stitches. Make sure they're lined up. Okay, so, you gotta make sure it's not tangled, doesn't twist up, have your tail going. I'm gonna, with you, go around the whole edge of this hook and eye piece. And see, I need better glasses. I can't even see it. Here we go. Oh, see, look, I gotta scoot it over. Okay. So as we're doing this, we're going to go along and go around the whole piece. I'm just trying to, actually, I'm having a little issue with this, so hopefully you guys are doing it good because I didn't. So here was my mistake. I started in the second, when I went in between the two pieces, I didn't start in the second hole. You gotta, the hole that has the tail is the first hole. So it's not gonna line up if you don't start your actual sewing in the second hole. So there we go. I fixed my mistake again. And I'm gonna sew just a regular running stitch all the way around the Velcro piece. Now, sometimes, you know, it's hard to see the hole in the Velcro piece. So what I'll do is I'll kind of lift it and look on the back and then put my needle in the leather so I could see what I'm doing. There you go. So I'm going to go with you correctly, hopefully, all the way around this Velcro piece. Now, one hint, little suggestion, if, you're having trouble with dexterity, don't have a lot of strength in your hands, like it's really kind of rough for me to even pull this through. I will show you a little trick if you have them available. You can use a pair of pliers. I just have long nose pliers right here. So what I'm going to do when I get it poked through, when it starts getting hard on the side, I'll just grab the needle, pull it through, put down my pliers, and keep going. So we're going to, this side too. Oh, we're going to continue all the way around. I'm going to finish it with you, but while I'm doing that with you, Trish, you have any suggestions or comments or?
Well, first of all, I appreciate the fact that with your years of experience on working on these, that you're not perfect. Thank you, Rose, for making mistakes. I appreciate that. It just shows you that, you know what, there's nothing wrong with having little bumps as you go along. It happens, And so, but she also gave suggestions on how to correct it and did it all on camera. I love that. So thank you, Rose. I appreciate that. Yeah, this is kind of tough at times going through, and I was thinking about that as well. I don't think it's as safe, but I know when I'm coming through, sometimes if it's super hard, I can hold the sides and kind of push down on a hard surface, and it'll help pop it through there, because that's usually what it is that the double portion on the needle that's a problem.
I have a piece of wood here and I could demonstrate how to do that. Right. That's a great suggestion. I do that usually, whatever's handy, like a table, but sometimes you don't want to put a little dent in your table. So like here, my needle is, I'm having a hard time getting it through. So what I'll do is I'll just push down on a hard surface and it pushes it right through.
And one tip also to add to this is that when as the hook and eye fastener is difficult to locate the holes and get the needle through, it does function just fine if you were to only pass the needle around one circumference around the piece. So as much as like you did the palm piece where you stitched back the reverse direction, this you don't necessarily have to. You can, it's like instructions suggest, but if it is difficult, if you were to skip it, it still will function just fine.
Nice. Right, which is, I had a really hard time doing the samples, saddle stitching. So we're just going to show you how to go around once, and then you finish it off just like you did the other one, where, see, my pieces are both, between the hook and eye and the leather. I have two end pieces, and I'm just gonna knot it. And really the second time around, when you have a substantial thread like this, is really not necessary. It's gonna work just fine with one time around. So there you go. There's one side. Now I'm gonna show you how to position the second piece of hook and eye on the other piece of glove. But then we're gonna let you do it on your own while we take a break for another speaker. Here's the other piece, right side. This is the wrong side. You're gonna put the Velcro on the wrong side of this piece. You put it on the right side of the palm piece. You're gonna put it on the wrong side of this piece. And you're gonna do the same exact process. Cut your 2 feet of thread, leave a tail, go around once and knot it. So we are actually going to give you some time to do that. And Tracy, are there any questions? And we'll come back, Trish will come back and continue.
Yes.
We don't have any questions at this time. So let's go see what Chip has us at the Help Heal Veterans Warehouse.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Heal Veterans Production Department. What we're going to show you here is we're cutting leather, the deerskin leather, the Elks have generously donated to us for craft kits. And as Mary suggested, or not suggested, but she told us that the leather sometimes lacks quality because of all the different people who are preparing the leather when it's given to the lodge before it's tanned. So that doesn't deter anything. We use every little piece that we can. And what we do is we have what we call, this is how we cut lace. It's a spiral. So when it's imperfect like that, as far as the finish, the leather itself is just fine. And so we cut that, and then it becomes a piece of lace. And that way, when you unwind it, it looks like a natural piece of lace. So a piece of leather this size can really give a 3 or 6 foot piece of lace. And there was an earlier question that somebody had asked about if there's different types of gloves that we could do. Well, for instance, this glove kit, this is one of the parts of the die to cut one of the parts of the glove kit. So it's steel, and that's actually handmade. So the reason we designed this was based on sizes. So large hand, small hand, this glove is designed to assemble the way it does so that any size fits, one size fits all. So it becomes cost prohibitive to have one of each size, especially for gloves, because it's just, you'd have to have all the various sizes and all the components of each size in that kit. So, but what we're, that aside, what we're doing here is we're cutting the deerskin. You can see Tony, how he just cut some of the lace, and this is cutting for the large drawstring pouch. And as he's cutting the pieces, see how we're using every little piece that fits like a puzzle. And we use this type of machine so the way you can arrange the cutting die to cut around imperfections or all the weird shapes. So that's thanks to the Elks allowing us to be very generous with deerskin craft kits. What we're also doing is we're packing for the next mailing. And the mailing is going to have 2 kits on this time around. There's going to be a paint by number kit, as well as it's called Patrick's Puzzle. And what that is this is a picture of a puzzle that Patrick, he drew. He's unfortunately passed away, but he's given us 3 images, and we chose one of the images to send off as a puzzle, and it has the colored pencils in it, has a story about his life and a brief explanation. And what it is it's you color in the pictures, and it's a puzzle that you can break apart and put together later on. And then the other one is the paint by number sets. So we've been able to get those ready for you. The one thing I'd like to do is take an opportunity to let you know that not everybody gets the same picture, because that type of inventory is just not available. So we couldn't get one of each picture. So we have a couple dozen different images we've had to get to fulfill the over 7,000 pieces of mail that we're mailing off to everybody at home. And so what we're doing here is the gals are putting in the 2 pieces into the envelope, as well as the documentation. Remember the donor cards, signing those and mailing those off to the donors. Those are very important. And then what we're doing is packing them in the envelope, and then at the end we're sealing it, and then we'll get the names and addresses and get those off as soon as we can. Hopefully you should see those in the next few weeks. It's going to take a little bit of time once we get, like I said, 7,000. So we have all of this to pack, and we've got all these envelopes to fill, and all those envelopes to fill as well. And there's more over there. So we're working on it. We're working on it. We're getting her done for you. So hope everybody enjoys. Has there been any other questions come up?
No, but we did have a yay paint by number kits. Thank you.
Well, we try. We're doing everything we can. So, okay, I'll pass it back to you. Thank you.
Okay, and then back to you, Trish.
And let's see, there we go. So pretty cool, huh? Being able to see what's going on behind the scenes. I always love that. And what else that Chip comes up with to use the elk leather with. Nothing goes to waste, right, Chip? Good job. I appreciate that. So if you were paying attention to me at all while I was stitching around my glove here, I cut mine too short. That 36 inches didn't work for me. So I ended up with this little section here that didn't work out for me. So use the ruler like Rose suggested. I think that's a great idea. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because the next section that we're working on is going to be the straight edge, and we're going to need 5 feet. So got a ruler. Let's get out that ruler, right? We're going to need that. So 5 feet according. Thread your needle again. I'm going to be extra generous this time, and I'm sure it was partly because I did not go back and tighten up as I was going along, because I'm such a slow poke at stitching. I wanted to, that lacing that's going on there, I just want to make sure. So here we go. We're going to work on the straight side. So you're going to take the right sides together again. Here, we're going to pretend this doesn't exist here, but I'm still working on my Velcro. Is anybody else as slow as I am? Please tell me if you are. It'll make me feel better. We're going to go ahead and thread the needle here, or lace the, all right, Rose. Next time I'm going to have a glue stick here, because that is such a smart idea. All right.
And actually, this being a 5 foot long piece of thread, please make sure you go slow and take your time, because it will tangle really bad.
See, look at you. Okay, you're going to take the 2 pieces of the glove here, put the right sides together, and we're going to align the holes here on this flat side. See this flat edge that we have right here? You're going to line those up right sides together. It's not going to look like it should match, right? Except for this little section right here. That's where we're going to focus on, okay? So we're going to do what Rose always suggests. We're going to start sewing through the second hole, all right? I'm going to go ahead and create my little, all right, Rose, let me see you doing yours because I want to make sure I'm doing mine right. This is why I need videos.
Hold on. Yeah. I have to start over. Okay, second hole, I go through the second hole, both layers. We don't have to worry about it being in between because we're on the wrong side.
Ah, good point.
So
I like
just
that.
leave yourself a little tail anyway.
Okay.
So go to the first hole.
All right.
And then now we're gonna go over the edge. And then Trish, you could continue, right?
Okay, I think I can.
So there's a little, this kind of locks in your thread for the whole part. So there's a little loop over the edge.
Oh, I like that. Okay, so you're going over this edge here, not where the thumb is. You're going over this edge. Back into the same hole, the second hole again?
Yes.
Good deal.
No, the first hole. Like if you start at the second hole, you stitch to the first hole, and
Right.
then you go up and over the edge, back into the first hole.
Okay, so it is going over to this edge that is right here next to where
If you look at mine, hopefully you could see the loop over the edge here.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yay. See, I'm a visual learner, so any videos or seeing someone actually do it is so much easier for me. So I'm sure if you're watching this, it's because you're a visual learner too. Well, actually you get the audio too, so that's helpful. Okay, so you came back over to secure it. Now you're going to continue sewing along the edge.
Lots of tangles, so watch when you're pulling it through, and get rid of your little knots before you pull it through.
Yep. I always think of this kind of like how knitting and crocheting, I'm always holding the thread with my fingers anyways. So this shouldn't take a long time because this is a lot, pretty straight, correct? Okay. So is everybody excited about the puzzle and the paint? Heard the yay about the paint by number. That's pretty cool. Those puzzles are pretty cool, I have to say. I was really impressed. I'm a big fan of that kind of art anyways. Caricatures, cartoons. I always think those are pretty cool. Anything that's fun, right? All right, going back. All the way down. Rose is probably almost done, right? Or are you finished? She is so fast.
One edge.
Look at her. Okay.
13 years of sewing here, plus years of sewing before that.
I was a reluctant sewer. Give me a machine, I'm okay. But I was a reluctant hand sewer. I think it was too many. I did a dress hem once that the circumference of it had to be 5 foot. And I did the wrong hem and had to tear it all out. So I think that's just kind of stuck with me. But I will say that our kits for stitching, like even the tote bag that you have to hand stitch, very therapeutic to stitch it. So that's what I love about this. Even if this isn't your forte, give yourself a chance to try it anyways, because it's amazing what you find out you like about it. You'll find something you like out of everything, right? And you learn a new skill. And you get something practical and productive at the end. I really like that. Okay, so are you already back stitching it?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I'm waiting for you.
I appreciate that, Rose. This is the Wait for Trish show. But that's okay. Please tell me everyone else is doing this too, taking a few minutes. All right. And I also gave myself a lot of thread just to make sure. I wanted the cording I didn't want anything to be short this time. Here we go.
And there is extra thread. We're going to use this 5-foot piece for the next section, but everyone I have had extra thread. So if you cut a little bit, it should be extra. It should be okay.
Yep. And the arm length rule doesn't work for 36 inches all the time, FYI. Okay, so here we are at the end. All right, now we're going to, let's see. Oh, we're going to go over the top on this one too to secure it, correct?
Correct.
So same thing, stitch back over. I like that. I like the securing because I don't want this to fall apart because I put all this time and effort into it, correct? I want it to last for a while. So let's lock it in over the top again. Yeah, it tried to kink up on me, but that's not bad. That worked out pretty good. Okay. And then we're going to do the saddle stitch back again, correct? Just keep this nice and even, going back through, fill in those spaces with your stitches. So this will last you a long time. Probably wear out the leather with all your weightlifting and all your work before you take out a stitch. All right, so let me watch what I did. I came through this one and going back here. There we go. Usually you can tell on the back side too where you're missing a stitch and you can fill it in. And yeah, you're not kidding. This stuff likes to kink up pretty good if you're not careful. Though if I had taken the time to do what Chip had suggested, I'm sure it would take out a large portion of the kinks. So
Or also cut all the pieces you need and kind of let them lay out and straighten out for a while before you sew.
that's a great idea. I like that. Note for later. Get another one of these or a different kit with lacing. Same thing. Okay.
I want to call her up again. I thought she would have been here.
No, she's got some group this morning, so she might be here later, but
I want to talk to her because you know how right now this week is cool.
Somebody's sharing information. Do we have any questions by any chance, Tracy?
So we don't have any questions, but we do have some comments. So
Oh, good.
our first comment is to thanks for including the donor cards. And those are really important to our organization, to our ability to tell our donors the story, how we're helping. So make sure that you just say thank you. You can write more, but a thank you for the craft kit and drop that in the mail. Postage already paid. So we would really appreciate that. There is confirmation that other people are also slow sewers. So Trish, don't
Yay. Thank you.
people love puzzles as much as you do. So, so that's what we have. And so we're going to show a little video for you from last Memorial Day, this Fox News story. So we thought while you finish sewing, we'll just play the video, and here we go.
All right.
Well, we might not be able to honor our men and women in uniform with traditional parades and in-person memorials this year, but we can still honor their sacrifice. And you know, it starts by helping our brothers and sisters in arms who've made it back from the battlefield, but are still suffering deep wounds. Help Heal Veterans is an organization that offers free therapeutic arts and crafts to vets suffering traumatic brain injuries or post-traumatic stress disorder. The group is now sending crafting kits to veterans who are stuck at home because of the pandemic. Joining us now to talk more about this is retired Navy Captain Joe Mclean. He's the CEO of Help Heal Veterans and a graduate of the Naval Academy. Captain, thank you for joining us. Thank you for your service and what you do. First off, how has coronavirus, the isolation, the quarantine, the uncertainty and the stress, how has that impacted some vets?
You know, it's you can just see it in our demand. You know, usually we send out maybe 500,000 kits a year. In the last couple of months, we've sent out 90,000, and it just goes to show that right now, folks are feeling a little bit depressed, a little anxious, and therapeutic crafts have been approved for about 100 years. We've been around for about 50 of those to really heal those invisible wounds of war. And it does it in a lot of different ways. You wouldn't really think a craft could be so impactful, but like for a vet who's suffering, as you mentioned, from traumatic brain injury, those fine motor skills, the ability to concentrate, helps the healing process. For someone suffering from PTSD or depression, you know, the ability to concentrate, create a creative project that you're proud of, lifts the spirits, helps to relax you, and helps to calm as well. And you know, when you talk about those invisible wounds of war, it really is a series of small battles. You know, there is no silver bullet's going to help you somebody right away. So the tools that we provide through our donors that we give away free of charge are tools that help win those small battles.
You know, what's in the kits? I mean, when you think about arts and crafts, we see some of the video of the vets there. You know, you think of, remember back to kindergarten, first, second grade, making something. You got to concentrate, you got to work on it. It takes your mind out of the troubles. You know, what's in a kit and how do you get one?
Yeah, for sure. You know, it's actually, you know, we are provided, they're provided free of charge, and we support everything from like large VA medical centers. Used to start about 30. Right now we're doing about 115 military bases. So these kits are designed from the ground up. So they're not what you would find in a store. You know, we're a small American manufacturer. Kits made by, a lot of young and really dedicated Americans here in California. And they're the range. They're help with design with collision help. You know, so there may be like clocks, moccasins, jewelry kits. They have to be kind of fun to do, but what makes them kind of unique is that we can tailor them to fit the challenge what the vet is suffering from. So like if someone at a state veterans home, one of your older vets who may be all upstairs mentally, but no longer has those fine motor skills. So we'll design a kit that has maybe a bigger needle for a leather kit, you know, or that young 18-year-old Marine, he wants something fun, but maybe he's undergoing therapy where his therapist wants him to be busy for maybe an hour and a half of core work. So we'll make something that appeals to that young demographic, that's fun to do, but also meets the requirements of what the clinician thinks that that patient needs.
You know, you've been doing this, or the organization has been established back in 1971, back in the days of the Vietnam War. And we saw the welcome and the type of reception that some of the vets received back then versus the great appreciation that we have over the last 2 decades or so. How special is that? The fact that you have this, you have such support across the country, and it's something that you would not normally think of.
You know, it is. Like, as you know, sometimes little things can make a big impact in someone's life. You know, and I remember my first couple of days on the job as CEO a couple of years ago, my first thank you note from a vet that I opened up was, "Thanks so much for what you do. I don't think about suicide as much anymore." And to me, that just really floored me because I didn't really realize the impact. But when you talk about those small battles, you know, and someone's trying to overcome those wounds of war, you mentioned Vietnam vets. I'm a career military guy. My dad was a Vietnam vet, career Army, and I have a son active duty right now in the Navy. And, you know, so what we do, we are true believers here at Help Heal Veterans, providing those small tools that can help someone really overcome some of the challenges that they're facing because of their service to our country.
Well, God bless you. Thank you for your service, your son and your father. It's amazing. And what you do, I'm not going to let you go yet. Before we talk about what I see on your wall, you got a whole bunch of S-3 Vikings, the Hoover, the old submarine chaser from aircraft carriers. You got the Hoover. I love the Hoover. What did you fly? What carriers? And what is amazing to me is how do you, the two worlds, you're flying, you know, 1,000 miles an hour off the Cat 4 on the catapult, yet you can deal with arts and crafts.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of funny you say that. You know, I flew the S-3. I was on, you know, the Lincoln boat. I'm sorry, the Lincoln, the Kitty Hawk, the Ranger, the Connie, some really great aircraft carriers. Some aren't in service anymore. And actually, the Viking, you know, is no longer in service as well. But, you know, what I really enjoyed about flying was just not the thrill of flying, but, you know, we have some awesome people, the young sailors, my fellow aviators, you know, who really, you know, put their all out there, you know, to serve our country. So it was a huge, great career for me. I made some lifelong friends. I challenged myself, and, you know, more than I ever thought. but it was just a super, super fun thing to do. And I can't speak highly of it. Anybody looking for a career, naval aviation is where it's at. But as you talked about arts and crafts, you know, coming into here, it's the same kind of a thing. How can I make the best impact into the mission right now? So before now, I was, you know, focused on how best can I serve our citizens. Now I'm trying to heal those citizens who have given so much to our nation. And maybe, you know, it doesn't really need a handout, but they need a hand up. So we're there to help provide that.
What an important and meaningful mission, Captain Joe Mclean. Thank you so much. And of course, if folks want any more information, just go to healvets.org. And especially think of all those who have served on this Memorial Day weekend. Captain Mclean, thank you. And folks, thank you. We'll be right back.
Okay, and we're back. Rose, I believe you have the next part. We don't have any open questions, so take it away.
Okay.
Sorry,
so-
Rose, you get to finish off my stitching on this one.
Okay, for sure. Now, hopefully everyone finished the straight edge that Trish instructed you to do. Now we're just gonna do this little short V part, same way as we did the straight edge. So start, you know, you're gonna use the leftover thread that's on your needle from the first part. Same way, you're gonna go in the second hole, leave yourself a little tail, and to the first hole, that kind of locks it up, over the top, and then we're gonna sew along this V side. I'm gonna go slower, but at a little bit of a pace, because don't worry, because you'll have time to finish. I have some other things to show you. And when Mr. Mclean was talking about difficulty, I did look. This is actually rated difficulty level 2 of 5. So basically, you know, not a real hard kit. It would take you, it says it 1 hour, but that depends on the person. You know, it takes however long it takes you. It doesn't matter. So I am just sewing this V-shaped seam. With you. And also, yeah, like we could talk about, you know, how it helps fine motor skills and people with PTSD. You know, during the pandemic, many people are having trouble sleeping. You know, if you can't sleep, get up, work on a kit. You know, if it's something that you like to do, it's really going to help. So we're just sewing all the way along the edge till we get to the end. And then I'm on the last hole. I'm gonna go over the top and back through. And then I got a knot, so I got to get rid of that. Continue with your running stitch. Just like we did on the, you know, all the other stitching except for the hook and eye stitching. We only did once around. Now this is where, when you do the saddle stitch, sometimes it gets, you know, hard to pull through. So if you need to use our suggestion of using pliers or, you know, pushing it down on a hard surface to push the needle through. So we're going to keep going. I got a few more stitches. And like I said, we are going to give you time, especially you, Trish, to finish up.
I'm glad to know I'm not alone out there.
And yeah, I'm really have to lay this thread out next time because I'm having a little bit of a hard time. It's really getting knotted up as I get to the end here. But, all right, almost there. Everyone who's doing this, like I said, take your time. There's no need to rush. This is supposed to be relaxing. So I got the whole edge saddle stitched. And now here's my tail that I left from before. And here's my thread and my needle. So I'm gonna just cut, tie a knot. And trim the edges. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn this right side out. And there you go. That is your glove. Completely, what am I doing wrong here? Done, there we go. Don't even have to. So there it is, done. Looks great.
It does. Looks
so,
awesome.
You know, we turned it, you know, in right side out so your seams don't show. But while you're sewing, I'm gonna give you a couple ideas. This is a glove where we didn't go right sides together. We just went left, you know, wrong sides together and sewed the saddle stitch on the outside. So it actually, you know, looks a little bit different. We could put them on, right? But still looks good. So there you go. There's an option. You know, just doing the saddle stitch on the outside and putting your pieces wrong sides together when you sew them. And then we have a couple crazy ones that we embellished. You know, if you want to use them to go out on the town and, you know, pretend like you're Madonna, here you go. Here, Mia decorated this one with, you know, jewelry components and some drawing a piece of stone. We have a little dangly thing. I mean, you can make them fun, make them look, you know, great. And, you know, you could still use these for workouts or whatever, but they look fun.
I like that. You can personalize it any way you want to. That's nice.
Absolutely. And then we have another one here. This one, if you look, you know, it was the outside edge, you know, wrong sides together again, but it was loop stitched instead of saddle stitch. So, I mean, that looks nice too. You know, lots of different options. And then this one's a little way out there. It's hand painted by Dan here, and it's got like, you know, little glass tiles on it, and, you know, almost like looks like a skeleton hand. So this would be kind of fun if you wanted to, you know, use them for Halloween or for fun or whatever.
That's great.
Yeah, so there's a few ideas. So remember, you know, you have all the other pieces to do the other glove, so you'll have a matching pair. And Trish, you have anything to add?
Can't think of anything extra. I was just thinking, you mentioned Halloween. We've got Comic-Con coming up this summer, and it looks like they're actually going to be open. So I was like, wow, that'd be great. You could use this for cosplay.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, really cute ideas.
I love this. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for being patient with me.
So does anyone else have questions, comments, anything we could help you with?
Doesn't look like we have any open questions.
Okay,
So
then.
if you don't have any questions to close our event for the day, let's go to Help Heal Veterans VP of Development, Mike. Mike, it's good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thanks to everyone for attending. As we transition into the summer and through into the fall, we plan to continue this platform and expand it. We've had a lot of interest, and I think you're going to see a lot of interest in our local CCSs having additional kits to pass on. So please stay with us and stay tuned. We're hoping to expand this program And the slight changes that you'll see will require an interest shown from your end, but we're still working out the details on that. So everything you already saw the next shipments coming, so no need to worry at this point. But we'll continue to keep you informed, and we deeply appreciate the Elks, for their leather donation and also their donation for the shipping to get this out to everyone. It really means a lot, especially in this time of the ages. So thank you, Mary, and thank you, Elks, and thank you everyone for attending. Have a good day.